Hello, let's just get straight into it. J.K. Rowling has repeatedly proved that she is transphobic. I'm not even going to explain why, I'm just going to put a link to Samantha Lux's video. Go and watch this before continuing this video if you don't already know the details. Anyhow, JK is transphobic, and in my eyes, this means she cannot be a respectable feminist.
Why?
All TERFs, these are trans-exclusionary radical feminists, all they're doing is picking on another marginalised group in society and making life more difficult for them, instead of welcoming them to the sisterhood, which in fact they belong in, because trans women are women. They're targeting them, blaming them, ignorantly forgetting that they experience trauma too. In fact, they experience a lot of it. So, as many TERFs do, J.K. Rowling has played the anatomy card a few times. It can only be perceived as ignorance, believing that gender identity is predominantly about one's genitalia. Science can prove the author's, ironically, unimaginative idea of gender wrong. A medical writer explained in an AP News article, gender identity is more an inner sense of being male, female, or somewhere in between. Regardless of physical anatomy, it may be influenced by genetics and other factors. It's more about the brain than sex organs. So your down below bits are just one thing. Although modern culture puts so much emphasis on someone's sex organs being the main measure of gender, this is wrong. And if you think about it, it makes sense. I have always believed that gender is fluid. So why is J.K. Rowling a bad example of a feminist? Well, in her essay TERF Wars, or in her tweets, she quite clearly neglects the fact that trans women are at the brunt of sexism too. I really don't want to speak on behalf of the community at all, but I just really quickly want to say trans women walk down the street fearful just like us cisgendered women. All you need to do is read and listen to find this out. I'll leave some links down below. Trans women fall victim to sexual harassment and objectification. Misogyny directly hurts trans women, so shouldn't feminism consider them too? Core issues such as sexism and misogyny are exactly what feminists are by definition trying to address and change. So we need to fight for all the women that face the consequences of these male-dominated structures. TERFs want to liberate some women whilst restricting and punishing others. So arguably, it's not about equality for women at all, because many women are being ignored. It is about freeing a certain group of women from discrimination. In this case, that is cisgendered women. We shouldn't be favouring certain groups of women. Feminism should be for all women, for ethnic minorities, for women with disabilities, for women who are poor, all women. Enter intersectional feminism. This concept was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw. Intersectional feminism is an inclusive form of feminism, one that seeks to empower all women. Crenshaw has pointed out that issues such as racism, sexism, and homophobia overlap. So many forms of discrimination can target just one woman. She highlights how important it is to recognise that some women are part of multiple minority groups, and these women really do face harsh consequences. The life expectancy of trans women of colour is 35. So J.K. Rowling needs to diversify her feminism, because at the moment she's only listening to the needs of a certain type, a certain group of women. Respectable feminists, in my eyes, should desire to change the inequalities experienced by all women, and they need to recognise the different levels of discrimination. I find it so hard to comprehend that J.K. Rowling, a woman that created a whole new world, a magical world, with real complexity, can't comprehend the depth of womanhood. So, British Olympian diver hottie Tom Daley has spoken up about his issues with J.K. Rowling's opinions. Apparently Tom Daley has expressed that her transphobic views have put him off the Harry Potter books. To be honest, I can understand why. So I found an article by Pink News. I'm just going to read a quote. What she said about trans people. It's one of the hardest things to understand, how trans people think and feel, because she has never lived that experience. The same way white people trying to understand the black experience will never be able to understand that. Later in this article, it's also expressed that The Philosopher's Stone is no longer Tom Daley's favourite book. Basically what he said is it's hard to enjoy her work now he knows her views on trans rights. The reason why I bring up Mr. Daley is because I think he and the article bring up an interesting point. Can we still enjoy her work? And the bigger question, should we stop watching Harry Potter? Now, I don't really know the answer to this question, nor do I feel like it's for me to answer, because I'm not trans, and her transphobia hasn't directly and personally attacked my existence. But I have a huge amount of respect for trans women, so it feels wrong to support the work of someone who clearly doesn't feel the same as me. If I'm being honest, I do love the Harry Potter films so much. I've grown up watching them with my family. I've been to Harry Potter, the Warner Brother studios, like 6 or 7 times now. I love the cast, and I really admire actually Emma Watson and Ivana Lynch, the girl who plays Luna Lovegood. Similarly to Emma Watson and Ivana Lynch and many other members of the cast, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, spoke out against JK's opinions, or should we just call it transphobia? I will sum up what he said. So he basically said that trans women are women, kind of outlined that anyone that tries to dispute this fact is literally just stomping on their existence and diminishing their dignity. He then pretty much directly answered the question that I'm trying to answer. Should we stop watching Harry Potter? Let me read this out. If these books taught you that love is the strongest force in the universe, capable of overcoming anything, if they taught you that strength is found in diversity, and that the dogmatic ideas of pureness lead to the oppression of vulnerable groups, if you believe that a particular character is trans, non-binary, or gender fluid, or that they are gay or bisexual, if you found anything in these stories that resonated with you and helped you at any time in your life, then that is between you and the book that you read. And it is sacred. And in my opinion, nobody can touch that. And it means to you what it means to you, and I hope that these comments will not taint that too much. Feminism seeks to bring about equality. It is about protecting vulnerable women in society. It is about empowering them. As feminists, we need to be empathetic. Empathetic towards women of colour, trans women, working class women, women with a disability, Muslim women, immigrant women, all women. Feminism isn't, or at least it shouldn't be, about only uplifting white, cisgendered, able-bodied women. The movement should be concerned with taking down patriarchy to establish fairness for women of all walks of life. I feel like these are the real feminists. The feminists that view every woman as a human that deserves to live a happy life, an authentic life. The feminists that champion any woman that is celebrating their identity, whatever that may look or sound like. Feminism is a movement that seeks to bring about gender equality. However, I believe it's about much more than this, because I feel like true feminists, real feminists, people who are wanting to bring about change can recognise that there is inequality all around us in so many different forms. Feminism can and should always acknowledge the bigger picture. We need change so that anybody, no matter their gender, race, class, age, disability, religion, sexuality, or background, gets a chance to live their most fulfilling life. One thing is very clear: trans people are not a threat, but some cisgendered people are a threat to trans people. That is the problem we should be addressing. I don't know about any other cisgendered women like myself, but I'm going to stick to worrying about the creepy men that try to take advantage of me when I'm drunk. Not trans people taking advantage of me in the bathroom, because let's be honest, this is just fear-mongering. Anyway, please feel free to give me a subscribe or like my video if you agreed with anything I said or liked anything I said. Also, feel free to comment down below and continue the conversation. I'd actually really love that. I'm not trans myself, as I said earlier, so it would be wrong of me to speak over trans people, so I really hope that I didn't do that at all. And that's why I try to keep this as general as possible. I hope this video has encouraged you to go and follow and listen to some trans people on YouTube. I'm going to leave some links down below to many different trans people on YouTube that you can go and give a watch. Let's just amplify their voices, spread love, and be as empathetic as you possibly can every day.